In February of 1969, the World Scout Foundation was founded to develop and strengthen the impact of scouting worldwide through the provision of financial and other resources to the World Organization of the Scout Movement. The WSF is an international non-profit institution incorporated under Swiss law and based in Geneva. It also unites philanthropic institutions, corporate investment, and government support with a global network, if you will, of passionate and dedicated individual supporters of scouting known as Baden-Powell Fellows, who give their time and resources and lend their name and networks to help young people create a better world through scouting. The World Scout Foundation was reorganized in 1977 under the patronage of His Majesty Carl XVI Gustav, the King of Sweden, who has been the honorary chairman of the WSF since that time. We'll learn more about the work of the World Scout Foundation and the King of Sweden's connection to the National Scouting Museum in this edition of Artifact of the Week. The World Scout Foundation represents more than 57 million scouts and scouters in 224 countries and territories around the world. Together, these scouts and scouters have performed more than 2.7 billion hours of volunteer service in their communities. The WSF was started with an initial investment of $10,000 in 1969. Today, that investment has grown to over $68 million and has provided millions of dollars to scouting since its founding, including over $75 million in the past 10 years alone through direct grants to the World Organization of the Scout Movement and project grants to global and national level scouting projects. One of the more visible projects funded by the WSS is WASM's Messengers of Peace program, which started in 2011 to encourage scouts around the world to step up and do what they can to make the world a little better. The Messengers of Peace program aims to promote a culture of peace and dialogue for mutual understanding, promoting service initiatives led by scouts, support the development of young people affected by conflict situations, provide further connection to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and to connect 20 million Messenger of Peace scouts around the world. To help get the Messengers of Peace program off the ground, the WSF approved a $27.5 million Messengers of Peace grant to WASM in 2011. This grant was the first and to date the most significant project fundraising grant received. The grant also marked the start of a project funding initiative from the World Scout Foundation to the World Scout Bureau and the National Scout organizations. This project funding model has been vital to further increasing impact and engagement by driving support for scouting initiatives at all levels. At the 2023 National Jamboree, participants were given the opportunity to work on a Messengers of Peace service project by assembling 5,000 flood buckets in cooperation with a team of scouting volunteers and members of Volunteers in Mission, a movement within the West Virginia Conference of the United Methodist Church. The project was underwritten by Walmart. So how does all of this connect the King of Sweden and the National Scouting Museum? Glad you asked. Carl XVI Gustav was born in 1946 and became a Cub Scout with the name of Mowgli. He became a Scout in 1958. At the age of 10, as Crown Prince, he participated in a Scout camp in Sweden as one of his first official duties. In 1973, he took the throne and is now the longest reigning monarch in Sweden's history. Due to his involvement in scouting and the restructuring of the World Scout Foundation in 1977, he is recognized as the honorary chairman of the WSF and often participates in scouting activities, particularly world jamborees all over the world. He attended the 1981 and 2013 National Jamborees held in Virginia and West Virginia, respectively. In 1982, his contributions to the World Scouting were recognized by the World Scout Committee as he received the Bronze Wolf Award. A new display in the Scouting Heritage Gallery looks at the role of international scouting in the BSA. Part of this display talks about the World Scout Foundation and the Baden-Powell Fellowship, a program established in 1982 to recognize individuals for their contributions to the World Scout Foundation. New members are welcomed annually and are personally awarded a special insignia by His Majesty the King of Sweden. On display in this exhibit, you will see the gold pin that BP Fellows currently receive, as well as a sample of the larger medallion that was presented previously to BP Fellows. You'll also get to see in the upper vitrine a Scout shirt provided by the King of Sweden. Now, it took several months of behind-the-scenes work to coordinate the museum receiving this artifact, and we are very grateful to the King for adding to this personal item to our collection. The World Scout Foundation is currently engaged in a global effort to raise $100 million, boosting the resources that they can provide to world scouting and the communities we're all engaged in. Well, that's all the time we have for this week. Join us next time as we continue to learn more about the history of the BSA through the collection of the National Scouting Museum and Artifact of the Week.